Guys, Pretzelman 945 here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I have a list I've been sitting on for a couple months. Not because I didn't really want to make it. I just didn't do it. Just simple as that. I just had other things I had preferred recording at the time. Um, but since I've been doing a lot of deeper uh dive in top 10 list recently, then I figured this would be a good time to do this one. This is my top 10 anime backstories slash flashbacks. And yeah, I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, we are going to just jump into the list. Um, Now at number 10, I have Koro Sensei's backstory from Assassination Classroom. So he is the titular character of the entire show, and as it goes on, you are slowly learning more and more things about him. Excuse me. No, I'm not tired. Um, you are gradually learning more and more about him and watching that dynamic between him and his class improve. Um, and then finally seeing what the fuck happens in his full backstory is utterly insane because there is so much to it, and it is like in so much more detail than I could have ever predicted at the time. Um, and so, um, just making it like that, it's just it's completely unpredictable in terms of just how much detail it shows you with all the fucked up shit that he had to go through. Um, and that combined with how much it reinforces how good his character is absolutely brilliant. Um, Now, speaking of backstories that give you brilliant revelations, at number 9, we have Homura Akemi's backstory from Madoka Magica. And honestly, this could go higher. It really fucking could. Um, but the only reason it's not is because I'm lazy and I don't feel like changing the list mid video, even though I have done that a few times. I don't feel like doing it this time. But um, so in Madoka Magica, Homura Akemi is this very throughout the entire show near the end until we learn this, he's like this very standoffish, not getting involved, kind of doing her loner character almost to a certain point antagonistic, but never quite all that way to where the most that she does is just like warding off Madoka's group and making sure they don't get themselves killed, or at least trying anyway. Um, and then we get to see her backstory and you see the reason for what she did, because you learn in such a powerful way the amazing friendship that her and Madoka had in her timeline, and then seeing the amount of times. Like what? Like I want to look it up because I'm actually genuinely kind of curious. How many times does Emmy go back to save? I don't know if this is like a given number. Wow. Okay. Apparently, a note from the author. It's been done nearly 100 times, which is absolutely insane. But, like, think about that. 100 fucking times of doing the same thing over and over and over again. And you're just slowly seeing how this utterly grates for inside. Um, and then just seeing all of those emotions come out. God, it was so powerful. It's one of the best scenes in the entire show, in my opinion. Homer Akemi is by far the best character from the show. And honestly, like after that scene, I might say is like up there with my favorite anime characters because that was such a ridiculously powerful scene, to me. So, um, at number eight is the flashback of the first homunculus and from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, what this flashback accomplishes is not only does it really give us a lot more background to up until this point the pretty damn mysterious character of Hohenheim. We get to learn about his origins, where he came from, what his relationship with father is, um, and just kind of understanding that dynamic more. But also, and the thing that it does three things. That's the first thing. The second thing is you get to see giant as a civilization more than just ruins, which is a really fascinating thing to be able to compare it to what like a Mestris or Jing looks like for that matter. Um and then third, you get introduced to the father or the first homunculus, whatever you want to call the character, and through absolutely brilliant writing, in my opinion, I think you're able to really, really dig into all seven of the sins that are located within the homunculus. And for me anyway, whenever I rewatch FMAB during this scene, it's always like really interesting for me to note like the different like individual facets in which these interact and kind of compound on each other and like trying to get into the nuances and tell the differences apart versus like the different combinations of them. I always find that really interesting, and I think the nuanced writing of the dialogue of the homunculus in this scene is absolutely brilliant. Um, now, an, un, I, I realize now that I'm looking at this, a lot of this list kind of follows a lot of the same trend where it's like it very suddenly reveals something and it's not exactly a tragic backstory of a character because And number seven is the Odin flashback from One Piece. One Piece is famous for its very good backstories. I have a whole other list of that, but I don't really know if that's a list I'm gonna make. You can let me know if you want that list in the comments, but currently I'm not really leaning towards it since I'm already talking about my favorite One Piece one here. But yeah, the Odin flashback is my favorite. For a multitude of reasons. I know not a lot of people would have it number one. They probably say like Robin, Kuma, Law, and those are all ones that are very high for me, by the way. But the reason that I love the Odin flashback so much is because it kind of encompasses everything that I love about One Piece. Because not only are you exploring this new culture and exploring a part of the world through and learning new information about something that even if you already would have learned about, you're exploring it through this new context. Um, and And so, like, seeing Wano through the different contexts of Odin's eyes, was very, very cool to me and super interesting because it made this location of Wano so much more vibrant and interesting than it already was, which to me is just incredible. Wow. But also, like, getting to see all this information about Roger, Laughtail, Whitebeard, and his crew, Whitebeard and Roger in their prime, fighting. You get introduced to Scopper Gabon properly in this flashback before he shows up in Elbath. Um, and and you see it all through this very unique and lovable character of Odin. And simultaneously, it reveals so many mysteries about, like, what had been going on. Like, you learn so much more and gain so many answers to these questions that you've had since the beginning about like Roger and that journey and what their crew was like and how did they interact with each other? How strong was Roger really? Um, which through the incredible animation of Roger and Whitebeard's clash of insane conquerors hockey, you're just able to see the insane powerhouses that both of these were in their prime. Um, and and then after that, like seeing Odin get married, raise a freaking family on the ship even, um and kind of go through that life journey and then um like learning the details of the world and learning about Roger, that's one big part of it. But the other big part, and which I think is so crucial, and yet this flashback succeeds so damn excellently, is the fact that Odin is such a brilliant and lovable and fantastic character to be able to follow, because not only are you seeing that particular perspective of his, but at the same time, you're also not only are you seeing his adventures as a pirate and his deep friendship with Roger and Whitebeard and the impact that he had on them as well as they have on him. Um, you're just you're able to see, I feel like, a completely different um side to him, and then you see a different side of his journey as he continues to rule over Wano. He recruits the nine loyal scabbards all in a very unique way. They all have very interesting character introductions. um so all that stuff is super super cool and very well done. And then, gosh, seeing like his tragic end and the realization of how Wano fell is so like sad and yet brilliantly written. And it's why Odin is one of my favorite One Piece characters, because getting to see his entire journey in life illustrated like that and seeing his perspective on all these things while also exploring Wano in a new way and getting so many questions answered. It's just, it's incredible. Um, Now, at number six is Riwo's entire history. Kind of similar to the Odin one, from Devilman Crybaby. Um, in like the second to last episode, um, within the la- within the la- within the later episodes. I mean, there's only 10 episodes, but like within the later episodes, um, you're kind of seeing how Riro becomes more and more of a villain, and yet he blames Akira as the villain. And then like it's like the second to last episode, I think. And to be honest, it's been a while since I watched Devil May Cry, so I'm not too like keen on remembering specific details of it. But like I remember that there was like an insane origin to Ryuo, and like how that tied into his almost celestial existence, and learning the fact that he was even one of those, and kind of gaining a deeper understanding of his goals and motivations to destroy God is absolute insanity, and it's just one of the many um plot twists just that just you know uh continue to completely fuck your mind up when you're watching Devilman Crybaby. Um and number five is Archer's flashback from Fate Unlimited Blade Works. Now what I'm specifically referring to here is um the origin of his Unlimited Blade Works, and like how his whole character thing of like how he became trapped as a servant over time and stuff like that, and seeing how that explains his motivations. Um, Archer was a fucking badass before, and also learning that he is of the same lineage as excuse me, as Shiro, and kind of the context that provides for all the little hints that have been provided, like Shiro preferring to fight with two blades instead of one, even though Saber had been teaching him differently when fighting. Um, seeing those different aspects come together as you learn so much about this character, and then kind of like seeing their main parallel dynamic to each other. It was so brilliant and mind blowing, and it made Archer one of my favorite anime characters of all time. Um, the way it was done with like the subtle hints leading up to it with both characters and their relationship, absolutely top fucking tier. Um, Now, at number four is Emilia's backstory in ReZero. Um, Now this one is so good because not only does it explore so much about why Emilia's character is the way she is, with the fact that her whole half elf identity she always felt discriminated against because she lived in an isolated, like, knowing forest community where no one would have really known about them. The elves anyway, and she was a half elf, and it's not directly stated, but like, come on, we all know that Pale Goose was her father. If I'm wrong on that, then like, please correct me because uh I otherwise I completely misinterpreted ReZero season two as a whole. Um and Learning that information, even though it's not directly stated, was absolutely crazy. Or like, uh okay, I'm gonna look it up because is Pale Goose Amelia's father? Oh, okay, he's not. Okay, okay. So I was totally wrong there. But I knew it was something like that. Anyway, it's basically like a stepfather type relationship essentially because um it's like Amelia's mom or aunt, they're clearly like they clearly have romantic feelings for each other. That very much is very obvious. Um and you really get to learn the evil of the fucking archbishops here because you get to see this totally different side, I guess, but still fulfilled by the same motivations where you get to see um these guys, the ones of like greed and and gluttony and uh I forget all the ones that show up in that scene, but like all of them, um, like being able to see that kind of idea, um, and the way that they affect Emilia as a character and the development that she gets by looking back on it is absolutely fantastic. But also like being the utter tone of Beetlejuice as a character who, like, in season one we were introduced as a very hateable villain, but here you get to understand and break down his whole decline into just becoming absolutely insane and thus becoming one of the archbishops um is just it was so shocking, and yet the context that it provides for that event was just amazing. No, and number three is Yo's backstories. Now I say backstories because I'm including two examples in this. Um, the first one, because both of which I think fundamentally contribute to how his character is seen and develops, and how his relationship with Toru develops. So the first one, obviously, the whole secret, which I'm pretty sure in season one is revealed how he is the cat, and the whole information that is revealed about why the cat is the most hated one, why Yo and Yuki hate each other so much, why like the entire family despises him. And for the first time, you get to break down what that is like for his character, and also the monster's transformation that he ends up having, um, which is incredibly profound, and it adds so much to his character, I think. Um, it makes his character so much more deep than we had thought previously, and the way that it starts his romance with Toru was absolutely fantastic. Um, okay, sorry for the pause. I had to get some water. I was really thirsty. It's been a not that long of a recording, but like pretty long. Um, so anyway, um, I was talking about Kyo's backstory. So, the very first one, you learn a lot about his character, as I said, and it's a great start of their romantic relationship. Now, the reason I said that I'm including two is because there is a second. It's not like his backstory necessarily, but it's a flashback that is that is possibly even more integral to his character than the first one, where the information about him and the role of the cat is revealed. And that is the one where it flashes back to where he thinks that um he was the cause of the death of Toru's mom. And that's why he can't really stand to face, at a certain point, he really can't even stand to face her, much less even talk to her and sort out the feelings he has for her. And, and, like, and like really digging in and just exploring the insane amount of guilt that he feels is just oh, it was something I never expected, by the way. Like when I got to that point in Fruits Basket, I was not expecting another backstory for Kyo of that depth to kind of expand on his character even more than what had already been done fantastically with all the information that had been slowly revealed about him being the cat and why he was shunned from the rest of the Soma family. Um, But disregarding that whole thing, it's like both of them are brilliant on their own, but when you combine them together, not only does it make it very high in this list, but also it makes Joe, in my opinion, the best written character in all of Fruits Basket. And my second personal favorite because I personally like Shigure the best, but I think that Joe is without a shadow of a doubt the best written character in Fruits Basket, which is really saying something because Fruits Basket has some of the best character writing of any work of fiction I've ever seen. Um, Now, and number two is Nanachi's backstory in Maiden Abyss. Nanachi is my favorite character in Maiden Abyss, bar none. Easily my favorite character. Because from the moment that she is introduced, she is this amazing, lovable personality um who is just adorable um and provides another layer of wholesome to Rico and Reg's dynamics and really completes the group, I think. And her past is very mysterious, but then you learn about her human origin and how Bondrewd experimented on her and her friend, and Mitty was completely reduced as a life form, and seeing that, seeing the bond that the two of them build in the first place was incredible and so emotional. Um, and so emotionally brilliant writing. Um, Such emotionally brilliant writing. I can't talk. It's almost midnight. Um, uh, Golly, and then just exploring the emotions of that was just like, holy crap! It was so fucking gut wrenching in a way that I can't even describe. Um, and yet, despite the fact that before I made this list, I really thought that would be number one, but then another one popped into my head, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is easily number one." And that number one spot goes to the basement reveals and um Grisha's backstory in Attack on Titan. Um, because not only did did the basement reveal, not only were they built up to for the entirety of the first three seasons, but the reveals that came from the basement completely and fundamentally changed everything that we knew about the world that is known about the world of Attack on Titan at the time, and it completely fundamentally changes the dynamic of all of the characters and basically everything that you see up until that point. And that's not even getting into the backstory itself, because not only are we introduced to this totally alien world of Marley, which is really interesting to explore, by the way. and like a totally different culture, mind you. Um, for aliens and such. Um, like, in addition to learning all that crazy history about the two, like, civilizations and whatnot, and how Marley is dominant now and the aliens are the one getting discriminated against all the time. Um, and but then, like, seeing Grisha, um, like, seeing him grow up and seeing the values instilled within him, um and seeing how that translates to him just absolutely not being suited for parenthood whatsoever, but like seeing that, number one, that Zeke, the plot twist that Zeke was Grish's first kid in the first place, and subsequently Aaron's half brother was absolutely insane. Um, and to this day, one of the craziest plot twists in AOT, in my opinion. Um, but in addition to that, you have this, like, um this complete and utter understanding of both characters, and why he and Dino were both failures as parents, and then seeing how he tried to correct his mistakes with Aaron was so, like, powerful, and like seeing the difference between the two, like, parenting styles for Grisha was crazy. Um, but perhaps the craziest reveal that happens within this is, you get to meet Aaron Kruger, who is, up until that point, until he passes into Grisha, he has the Attack Titan, and he's revealed to be the Owl, the head of the little intelligence organization that Zeke and Grisha, not Zeke and Grisha, Dinah and Grisha were working for. And seeing all the people sacrificed, um, here's the thing, and this is God why Attack on Titan is the fucking brilliant best piece of fiction ever. Like, um, the Titans, the appearances that the Titans make are random at all. Like, when you're looking, your memory starts getting jogged, and you realize, oh shit, I have seen the Titan designs before, because every one of these people sacrificed is all a unique, specific Titan design that you see in motion season one, and I think maybe a little bit of season two. Um, and then that culminating with Dinah being the smiling Titan, that plot twist, um, and learning that Dinah in Titan form was the one that killed Aaron's mom was just, it was so mind blowing in a way I cannot describe to do it fucking justice at all. Um, And yeah, that is the best flashback in all of anime, because uh it does all the things that the other things in this top 10 did so well, but like times 100, with equalness and the what the fuck factor involved. Um, but yeah, this is the longest top 10 I've done in quite a while. So, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what your favorite anime backstory is and how you would change this list, whether you agree or disagree with it. Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.